An early edition episode of Boy Green Daily. We've got a post-Senior Bowl 2-round New York Jets mock draft, baby. It's time to get into it with a very special guest. Let's roll.
I'm going to lose my gosh darn bananas. Boy Green Daily starts now. Zoinks!
Boy Green Daily, Boy Green Daily, Boy Green Daily. Let's go!
Put your seatbelts on. Get ready for the ride. We're the freaking New York Jets, so we're built for this shit.
Happy early morning to all you people out in the audience. I'm Paul Eston Jr., a.k.a. Boy Green. I'm the New York Jets digital reporter for Heavy.com. Welcome to Boy Green Daily, a daily New York Jets video show, also available wherever you get your podcast. Typically, we start every show at 7:30 in the morning, but on Mondays, for the next couple of months, we're starting at 7 a.m. The early bird gets the Pokemon, or in this case, a mock draft. And yes, yeah, baby, represent all the Pokemon people out there. There you go. Some ink. Yeah, flush my ink, baby. Yeah. Hula-kaka. Let's get into it, baby. It is a 2-round post-Senior Bowl mock draft, and there's no one better to do it with than my draft expert extraordinaire and absolutely rising meteoric star in this business. And I'm glad that he spends some time on our show throughout the draft process. Let's bring him in. This is Drew Beatty, a.k.a. Iron City Film, joining us here on the show. What's up, Drew?
What's up, Paul? How we doing this morning?
All right, and at the end of this mock draft presentation, I'll pick your brain because you were down there in Mobile, Alabama. You made it out of whatever weather that is killing all of us here in America. So great. I can't wait to dive into that with you as well. But Drew, you are at the controls. We have some of these mock drafts in the books, and people either yell at you or kindly, pat you on the back or whatever's going to happen. I don't know. It's up to the universe, but we'll see if you're willing to, dive in once again to do this. So without further ado, are you ready, Drew Beatty?
Yeah, always ready. Always fun to dive into these mocks. I think you finally, the Senior Bowl was the first place you start to see some of the pieces, like preliminary pieces, start to fall into place, on what may happen across the league. It's always fun. This is the first one that I feel like kind of has any merit to it. The first one post Senior Bowl where you kind of have an actual feel for what's going to happen.
All right, there you go. A 10-poll event is in the books. We have another one coming up later this month with the NFL Combine. So again, folks, to always explain all the details of what we're doing here. So Drew Beatty will be the GM. I will poke and prod him about prospects and his thought process at each pick, but he makes the pick. That's how this works. 2-round mock draft. Jets have 4 picks in the first 2 rounds. Pick number 2, pick number 16, pick number 33, and pick number 44. You will make all those picks. We use the PFF mock draft machine around here. All the settings are 50-50 outside of randomness. Let me just tell you, for someone that's used the mock draft machine, some weird-ass shit happens if you don't do that. So here we go. These are the primo settings. We'll enter the draft. And for our audio-only listeners, when Drew is ready to make any pick, I will make sure I repeat where we are in the draft and what selection he indeed makes. So without further ado, we start the draft here. And yes, Fernando Mendoza, number 1 overall. Stop me if you've heard that before. And I imagine after the hiring of offensive coach Clint Kubiak, that's not going away anytime soon. Sorry, Jet fans. Which now takes us to Drew Beatty. Drew, let's go through our conversations here with the number 2 overall pick, but the number 1 overall pick of all the non-quarterbacks potentially here at this spot.
Yeah. I took Arvell Reese, the linebacker edge hybrid out of Ohio State here in our first mock draft we did.
Yeah.
And obviously, like take anything when I, if there's any, quote unquote whispers or whatever that I've heard, across the league from down in Mobile, or just things you pick up here and there, just talking to people, networking. Take all of those with a grain of salt this early. Nobody knows what's going to happen. The Super Bowl hasn't even happened yet.
Sure.
We've still got 3 months until the draft. For all intents and purposes, all of this is far from set in stone. So you hear whispers about who likes who. It's very, very little of it's concrete this early, but take it for what it's worth.
Mm-hmm.
I have heard Reese's name thrown around quite a bit for this spot. I mean, people expect Reese to be, the top non-quarterback on a lot of boards in the league this year.
Okay.
So I wouldn't be surprised if I stick with that again. I still really like that fit for New York.
Okay.
Because I think you can really use him. I'm generally against using players as hybrids. I think being positionless in the NFL can be kind of dangerous. Like I think it's best to give him a full time position. But if you are going to be somebody that can use him at both, I mean the Jets could use him at both edge and linebacker. They have spots where they need his help in both of those spots there. So he makes sense in the defense to me. I also really would not be surprised to see David Bailey go this early because I think most of that is going to be in response to the combine, sort of in a Trevon Walker kind of vein from what we saw with Jacksonville last year, where you see a guy just tear up the combine at a position as valuable as edge, and teams can't turn it down that early. And I think even as somebody who's considerably lower on David Bailey, I think he's going to nuke the NFL combine because he is an elite athlete. You're going to see a guy come in with 35-inch arms, and he's going to run a 4.40. They're going to see him run the bag drills for a little bit, and that's going to be all there is to see. And teams are going to be ready to pull that trigger. Even as high as number 2 overall. My personal top player in the draft.
Okay, before you move on to anyone else, just a quick follow-up on David Bailey. Do you believe that he is a guy that provides both pass rush juice and he can stop the run? Or is he more in one category than the other in your mind?
He is not a 3-down player yet, in my opinion. That's my biggest hang-up with David Bailey is that I don't have enough faith in the run defense. To take him this high. Like he's an early second grade on my board, early second round grade for that reason, that I think he's just a kind of a designated pass rusher kind of guy this early. A lot of people think he is the 3-down player. I'm just personally not that convinced quite yet. And I think it's a lot of a sentiment that I got from a lot of people when I had this debate down in Mobile was that if you have a guy that can pass rush, you can teach him how to defend the run, which to an extent I understand. But the problem with David Bailey is not that he doesn't know how to defend the run. He knows how to, the 35-inch arms are apparent. He plays very long. He looks lanky. He knows how to use his length to shed. Like the shedding is not the problem. You don't have to teach him how to peek and shed. He already knows how to do that. The problem is that he's just flat out not big or strong enough, and you'll just see him get washed out of run plays. The run anchor is not there, which I think is a much more difficult problem to fix as a run defender than it was if you just had a guy who was kind of technically raw and didn't know how to shed. And I just think you're risking losing some of his like kind of trademark first step burst, what makes him such a lethal pass rusher. You're risking losing that if you want to pack on a bunch of weight to kind of supplement that anchor. So I think Bailey is going to be.
Which, by the way, is what Jet fans are, I don't want to, hey, you're the draft expert, not me. But like what people criticize Will McDonald for is that he's this very fun pass rusher. But, oh, boy, all he needs to do is add a weight, give him some Wheaties, and he's going to be able to anchor down and be better against a run. And unfortunately, the analytics suggest that he's a big liability against a run, which then put the Jets in a lot of compromising positions this year.
Exactly. Yeah. And I Bailey and McDonald are not necessarily similar players stylistically. They're very different, but role-wise, I think, or at least early in Bailey's career, they're going to be very similar. Where it's the same thing, where they're both great, fun pass rushers you can have on third downs and obvious passing downs, but they're just kind of liabilities against the run. So, again, do I think it's likely that Bailey goes this early? Yes. Would I do it personally? No. All right. I think Reese continues to be the guy I want to put in this spot.
Again?
But
double dip. Okay.
But no, for the sake of
I see
some diversity in these mock drafts, and just because I'm personally that high on him, I'll take Miami edge rusher Ruben Bain right here. Currently, my top overall prospect in the draft.
Okay.
I think coming away from Mobile, if there's anything, again, take it all with a grain of salt, but if there's anything that I realized across the league, I think that he's going to be seen as more of an interior guy than I realized for a lot of teams.
Is that good news or bad?
I know I don't necessarily think it's either.
Okay.
For me personally, I think I would prefer to keep him as like a 5-tech kind of 270, 280 pound tweener. You don't have to, you can still have him on the tackles inside shoulder or whatever. You don't have to play him as a pure interior guy. I think you're going to see him kind of flex in between. I think just the length concerns worry a lot of people, and the fact that he has, probably sub 31-inch arms is what we're hearing. That makes a lot of people want to kick him inside. And I understand that to an extent, but I just think when you watch the tape, it doesn't matter. You pull up all the stats you want about, there's never been an edge rusher, with sub 31-inch arms to make a Pro Bowl or whatever. But at the end of the day, I don't think we've ever had an edge rusher with sub 31-inch arms that is as good as Ruben Bain. I think that he is just an overwhelming amount of power. The hand usage is as elite as it gets. They're incredibly heavy. They're incredibly active. He comes in as probably the best run defender on your team immediately.
Great.
The motor runs hot. I mean, he's a complete player. The only thing you're lacking there is I'm just not sure he's a quite elite of the elite athlete. Like he's not the twitchiest, the burstiest guy with his first step. But he gives you everything you want as a power rusher and a run defender. To me, he's exactly what I want in a 5-tech. So I think that Bain, obviously you've already got 2 edge rushers that you've spent, invested high caliber draft capital in Will McDonald and Jermaine Johnson. But
sure,
I think he's the best player in the draft to me. And I think you don't turn that down when you have the chance of an edge rusher of his caliber.
You're not going to have to twist my arm, baby. This Jets defense freaking stunk last year. So we need some friggin' talent. So, all right, it is official, baby. Let's get those chimes. The 2-round post-Senior Bowl mock draft. Drew Beatty, as the GM for the Jets, is selecting Miami. I was about to say Dolphins. Jesus. Miami Hurricanes edge rusher, defensive lineman, Reuben Bain Jr. Bain. Some fun Batman Bane stuff will definitely happen there for sure. Again, I'll only do this for this point in the draft. I won't do it for any other point of reading the names that went between picks where the Jets were in their second first-round pick quickly here. Arvell Reese, the Ohio State defender, went 3rd overall to the Arizona Cardinals. David Bailey went to your Tennessee Titans with the 4th overall draft choice. Jordan Tyson, the wide receiver at Arizona State, went to the New York Giants. Caleb Downs, the defensive back at Ohio State, went to the Cleveland Browns, saving on moving costs there. I can respect that. Carnell Tate, the Ohio State wide receiver, 7th overall to the Washington Commanders. Our boy Jeremiah Love to the New Orleans Saints with the 8th overall draft choice. Mekhi Lemon, the USC wide receiver, to the Kansas City Chiefs, 9th overall. Sonny Styles, Ohio State linebacker, to the Cincinnati Bengals, 7th overall. Jermod McCoy, the talented quarterback out of Tennessee, went to the Dolphins, 11th overall. 12th overall, Francis Mauigoa, the offensive tackle out of Miami. Mansour Delane, the cornerback out of LSU, went to the LA Rams. Peter Woods, the interior defensive lineman out of Clemson, went to the Ravens. And finally, Cassius Howell, the edge rusher out of Texas A&M, went 15th overall, which leaves us on the board here at 16th overall. This is the Jets' second first-round draft choice. This is from the trade with Sauce Gardner and the Indianapolis Colts earlier. All right, Drew, you got us a nice front 7 player. Where do we go next at pick 16?
Yeah, this is and one other thing that I would have touched on at 2nd overall that I feel like deserves a little bit more conversation than I've given it so far is the Ty Simpson conversation, the quarterback out of Alabama.
Okay.
I think I've ended up in a place where I'm defending Ty Simpson against the consensus, where I think that I currently, like, he's still a top 25 player on my board. I think it is.
Okay.
I think he is, an early 2nd round grade. I don't think I can get there 2nd overall. But I think kind of the conundrum you run into when you want to mock Ty Simpson at like a 16 spot here for the Jets is, like, if the Jets are high enough to pick him in the middle of the 1st round, I think you're high enough to take him at 2.
I see what you're saying.
So I feel slightly disingenuous mocking a quarterback with the Jets' 2nd pick, because I don't think a team that's comfortable enough taking a quarterback in the 1st round would not take them with the 1st pick that they have, So, like,
although, again,
as
the
much as I
Giants
would
last year, right? Jackson, or they took Adam
sure.
Carter at the front.
That's a possibility.
Called back up and traded back up for Jackson Dart.
So I think that's certainly in conversation as well. I expect teams to be much higher on Ty Simpson in this process than they were on Dart last year.
Interesting.
I think if the other conversation you run into is I don't know if Ty Simpson makes it to 16 by the time April rolls around.
Wow, really?
I would not be surprised if you end up seeing him go to like one of these teams at the back end of the top 10, maybe even as high as the Browns. I'm not sure if they're quite ready enough to pull that trigger, but I think it's in the conversation, still in the realm of possibility. Especially since I've caught up on some Ty Simpson tape that I had not watched as of talking about him last week.
Sure.
Obviously the Bama game or the Bama Indiana game in the playoffs was bad, but the first playoff game, the Oklahoma game, I mean, he was outstanding. He looked much more like first half of the season Ty Simpson.
Yeah. Some
other things I found out in Mobile was that he was dealing with some pretty significant injuries towards the back half of this year, which explains some of the kind of random drop off in tape. Okay. So I think that's some important context in the situation. Is that he had some pretty nasty injuries he was playing through.
Okay.
Again, I think between the mix of I feel slightly disingenuous not drafting him or drafting him here since I didn't draft him at 2, and also I'm not sure he quite makes it here, so I won't. do that fit here, but I am very, very tempted to mock Ty Simpson in this range because I would feel very comfortable taking him here. I still think he's the best processor in the class. The arm is fine by NFL standards. He's a great athlete. The pocket is impressive. I think really just the mental tools are plenty to bet on him being a first-round guy in this class. And if a team did take him top 10, I'm not sure that I could really hate it that much in this class.
Wow.
But just, so I hate to waste all that time on a player I won't pick here at 16, but I feel like Ty Simpson deserves a lot more conversation to the Jets than he's getting.
Two things here. First off, I want us to have conversation. So, obviously you could only pick one player at each of these spots. So naturally there will be players that are discussed that are not selected at these spots, but I want to get into your brain. I want you have done such great work with the draft that I want to try to pick your brain and see how. Second overall, oh wow, the Jets have every need on the planet. All right, but what's the best use of this draft asset? 16. Okay. They could go in a lot of different directions. What's the best use of this? That's interesting. For a future mock draft, I promise, we'll let you be GM and go cowboy, wild west, trading all over the place if you want. Trading up, trading down. We'll do some pregame on that to sort of get an idea for some of the things you want to do. And we could do that. For instance, now that you think Ty Simpson potentially could even go higher, I was thinking in my head, for a future trade episode, hey, Jets can move up from 33, but apparently I don't know if they can move up enough to potentially do that. So they may have to do that from 16, which would be fascinating. But okay. But Ty's very much in the conversation. I love that we're talking about that because that's interesting. Okay, then what other positions would you be looking at here at 16 then?
Now, the other guy that pops up, and I talked about him at this spot last week too, but it's Florida defensive tackle Caleb Banks right there.
Okay.
And this is a senior ball player that we got to see in Mobile, but his first day of practice was pretty rough. There were some conversations going on about how much is this going to cause a slide because you only got to see him play 90 snaps this year because of injury. 2024 was awesome. That he was missed virtually the entire year this year. And he opened up a pretty rough first day of practice in Mobile. But then something flipped. And I mean, the second and third day of practice, and I'm not sure if he stayed for the game or not on Saturday, but at least his Wednesday and Thursday practices, Caleb Banks was probably, for my money, the most dominant player on the field. He was virtually unblockable in the team periods, in the one-on-ones. He dominated everybody. Firmly solidified himself in the first round conversation to me. And I think Caleb Banks is definitely in the running to be the first defensive tackle off the board. And he's currently my top overall defensive tackle on my board. But again, with you taking Bain at second, I think that, him being kind of more that interior edge tweener, I'm not sure that you can really devote another second round pick on a guy that's kind of a three tech. Banks is much more of that kind of 290, 300, 310, maybe lighter three tech as a pass rusher guy than he is just a pure gap plugger nose tackle. So I think Bain kind of erases that possibility, and I want to go more receiver here.
Okay. All right, let's jump over to receiver.
I think that's the common fit. And one other player also, I hate to keep bouncing back, but another guy that I totally meant to mention it too at second overall that I didn't. And I don't imagine the response to this is going to be very positive. And I understand why.
All right.
Because the positional value conversation is always real. But we talked briefly about Jeremy and Sherwood last episode that I was here, and about how much I personally loved him as a player, but he was kind of disappointing in the scheme this year, especially for the contract that you give him. Obviously, the Quincy Williams situation did not turn out very well this year.
Right.
So, to say the least, the Jets have a serious question mark at linebacker.
Of course.
And currently, I still give the nod to Bain. But for my money, the best player in the draft has either been Bain or Sonny Styles, the linebacker out of Ohio State. I think that Sonny Styles is the best linebacker prospect I've ever graded, and he's about as close to blue chip as you can get for a linebacker prospect to me.
Okay.
And I think, I wouldn't bat an eye for a second if the Jets took Sonny Styles at 2. I think that he
really,
is in a class like this. I think that he is. He's currently third overall for me, but if you had him first overall, I wouldn't question it at all. I think he's like a couple decimal points away on my grading scale from being first overall in the class. And I think that Sonny Styles is more than worth that second overall pick in this class. And again, I understand the reservations that fans would have about taking a linebacker at 2. But when you look at just the talent level overall of this class and look at the Jets' needs, I think that taking Sonny Styles at 2 is a very realistic. I don't know about realistic possibility. I think that teams will let him slide because he's a linebacker. But as far as what they should do, I think Styles is perfectly in the conversation. He is incredibly young. I think he's going to be 21 on draft night, maybe even still 20. I'm not sure what his birthday is. But he is so advanced from where he should be in his career as a processor. I mean, mentally, he is everything you'd want in a green dot guy. He's seeing run concepts develop, before they really start. Incredibly efficient at shedding blocks at the second level.
He's 21 and he turns 22 at Thanksgiving later this year.
Okay, so yeah, still 21 years old. Mm-hmm. I think that he is as good of an athlete as you're going to find at the linebacker spot. He's kind of one of one as an athlete at the position. I think he's got all the tools in the world to be an elite coverage linebacker. I think in this class, when you look at the overall talent level, Sonny Styles deserves much more of a top 5, even top 3 conversation than he's getting. So if he falls to 16, which I don't expect to happen, but if he does, that is a home run pick.
Okay. Yeah, I was just looking up. I'm like, man, who the hell is the highest drafted off-ball linebacker that I can think of? And then the name popped up. I'm like, oh, yes, LeVar Arrington. He went 2nd overall 26 years ago. So that would have been, and all those, all those 11 jerseys out in the audience for the former Penn State product and the legendary Micah Parsons and LeVar Arrington and Abdul Carters and all those guys. So LeVar is the last one to go. So I was like, man, who the hell is that? I'm like, I couldn't remember who it was. And then I saw the name. I'm like, oh, yes. So he would be – so what they say about Arvell Reese is that he could sort of do both. Sonny Styles would be completely an off-ball linebacker at this level, correct?
Correct.
Okay. All right. Interesting. So, of course, he has gone higher in these drafts. So, again, that might be a maybe trade up from 16 to see if you could get him with the position. Maybe that's a thing for the future. All right. So, what do you want to do here? So, Sonny Styles. I'm glad you gave that shout out.
Yeah, for sure. And I forget who had the report come out this weekend. I wish I could credit it, but it was basically just talking about how Caleb Downs and Sonny Styles both could experience kind of much more of a slide than we anticipate, just because teams do value positional value that much. So, I mean, I think it's unlikely, but it's not out of the question that one of those 2 players is here at 16. I think it's more likely that it's Styles. But if he is, I think that's the home run pick of the draft. So if he ever does fall in these, I would love that fit. Okay. But I think, this pick has also been mocked very commonly to be a receiver, because you need a guy opposite of Garrett Wilson to help whatever quarterback you do bring in. And the obvious 2 here are either Denzel Boston or Casey Concepcion. And I took Concepcion last week. Okay. The one issue that I have with Boston is the same issues that I have with every prospect of his kind of mold. I'm every prospect or every evaluator has different kind of preferences in what prospects they like. Everybody likes a certain type of receiver, a certain type of edge rusher. And my personal bias is always against these big body possession kind of traditional X type ball winners. I was lower on Keon Coleman. I was lower on Ted McMillan of last year. I am lower on Denzel Boston this year. I just think that when you look at guys of their mold, they really struggle to separate vertically on the boundary. I think that that's the biggest issue to me, is that corners aren't really threatened with their vertical ability. And most times big guys struggling off of press, they're just kind of big targets to get roadblocked and press, and most of them don't handle it very well. And I think Denzel Boston has those same concerns that almost every prospect of his mold does. So he's much more of a late day 2 guy to me. I don't love him in the first round conversation. Casey Concepcion, I know I took him last week, but it's just so hard for me to turn down that talent. He's a top 10 guy on my board right now. He is my wide receiver 3. I think he is one of the best, if not the best athlete at the receiver position in this class. He is certainly the best separator for my money. The size worries you maybe a little bit. He's not quite as strong at the catch point as you'd like, but firmly the best separator in this class. He's going to be a deep threat, as well as, he can play all 3 positions. He played mostly slot in college, but I think he can play on the boundary if you want him to at the NFL level. I think he's got 3 position versatility at receiver. So I think Casey Concepcion is the Texas A&M wide receiver is a perfect fit to pair with Garrett Wilson to be your kind of second wide receiver. And again, I hate to double up for the sake of redundancy, but I just can't turn down that value. I'm too high on Concepcion, and I think the fit is too easy for whatever quarterback you bring in next.
Yeah, you may have to get ready for this, Drew. Now, again, just because people yell at you on Twitter doesn't mean they're right. But one of the picks that Jet fans hated the most, according to social media, when we post this on
Right.
Instagram and YouTube and everywhere, was like Casey Concepcion at 16. And you got a lot of those yells from the peanut gallery. Do you have any response to those people? If you decide once again to say, "Hey, fuck you, buddy, I'm gonna do it again." Yeah, you like it the first time? I'm gonna do it again, man.
Yeah, I mean, I always understand that there's reservations with every prospect, and like I said, everybody has their own personal biases towards what type of prospects you like. And if the little guys scare you, I get that. The size concerns are real for Concepcion, and I would have loved to see him in Mobile this week. He was originally supposed to be there and was not. Unfortunately, like they had a lot of backouts at the last minute from players. Because I think he's somebody that would have really benefited from being down there. But I'm just always going to prioritize separation in my receiver prospects, and I think that again he's the best separator in this class. I think he's one of the few guys with real elite deep speed at the NFL level. It takes him a little bit to get going to top speed. You know, he's not kind of an immediate 0 to 60 guy, but once he gets to top speed, I mean, he's a flat out burner. So again, I understand if you have reservations with his ability at the catch point and him being a little bit of a smaller frame. But when you look at the need at receiver, I think he is really by far the only receiver worth a pick here on this current list.
Wow, I just can't believe your dating profile. Sorry, bigger guys not interested in. Sorry, Drake London's, Mike Evans. Screw you, bastards. True. Tet McMillan. Sorry. Hey, you have a type. Everyone's got a type. I don't judge. There's nothing wrong with that, pal. Nothing wrong with that at all. So here we go. Hit the chimes, baby. He refuses to get pushed off this, and I respect it. All picked in the 2-round post-Senior Bowl mock draft. Drew Beatty, acting as the Jets GM, selects Texas A&M wide receiver Casey Concepcion with the 16th overall pick. There you go, baby. And now we jump over to pick 33 again. I won't be reading off all the picks that happened between A and B, but now we're presented here at 33. This is the first pick of the second round. There's 2 picks left to go, 33 and 44. 44, of course, the Jets acquired in the Quinnen Williams trade there as well. By the way, just before you even say whatever pick you potentially want to do here, didn't you have in one of these slots Emmanuel McNeil Warren last week, Drew Beatty?
I think I ended up going with AJ Halsey, but I talked about him a lot because it was either between him or AJ Halsey for the safety pick last week.
Okay, so our show was before this person released their mock draft, but Daniel Jeremiah, who is one of the I love and respect this man like nobody's business in the mock draft world, and he has so much information in that brain of his from people he talks to and sources that he had our Toledo buddy here like in the middle of the first round somewhere. And in his little blurb, he said like, hey, I know I'm way higher on this guy than a lot of people, but I think some people are going to get surprised on draft night or something. So I just saw that name and I've seen people like there's been a few Jets mock drafts where he goes at 44 and Daniel Jeremiah had him at whatever in his mock draft, like 20 or something. I was like, oh
yeah, I think he went 20 to the Vikings.
Yeah, there you go. See, okay, good on Paul's brain. Nice, Paul's brain. Way to remember that, buddy. Yeah, that just seeing that name here on the mock draft board just jumped out to me. So, okay, you gave us a little defense, a little offense. Now, where do we go here in round number 2?
Yeah, here I think you are really looking between safety, linebacker, and corner. Or not corner. Sorry, safety, linebacker, and D line.
Okay. All right. Well, let's go.
I think you still really do need somebody on the interior there to replace kind of that Quinnen Williams presence. And again, I know you have Bain, who's going to be kind of that 5-tech, 3-tech tweener, can play some on the interior. But you really need much more of a designated kind of nose tackle, true interior guy to replace that. And the first guy that pops off the board here to me is Texas Tech defensive lineman Lee Hunter. Is a guy that I talked about a little bit last week.
Yeah.
And again, I think here the question is just, does he make it here? Because Lee Hunter's another guy that was a surprise to many people. Daniel Jeremiah had him going in the mid-20s. He was the first. Yeah. He was a tackle off the board in Daniel Jeremiah's mock, I believe. And I think he firmly solidified himself in the first round conversation in Mobile. He was probably the only competition to Caleb Banks, the guy I talked about earlier, for the most dominant player on the field. I personally am shocked that he stayed for all 3 days because I think Lee Hunter could have left after the first day and been fine. But he stayed nobody could block him in 11 on 11 team periods. He was the best run defender on the field. He dominated in one-on-ones. continues to show he's just like this overwhelmingly powerful run-stopping nose tackle in the middle, who's also got plenty of pass rushing juice too for a guy of his size. He's really explosive for three. I think he came right under 330 as an official measurement. And that's the other thing too, is he's very clearly shedding bad weight from college. He came in a lot lighter than I expected him to, but he looks just as powerful. He's just shedding kind of some of that fat off the frame. But he hasn't lost any power at all, which is always really fun to see. I think Dominique Orange is another guy you look at potentially. I think he's who I took here last week. The Iowa State defensive tackle who was supposed to be in Mobile. Again, another guy that backed out at the last minute. Really special movement skills for 330 pounds. Like he has another great run defender with some real pass rushing juice too.
Citrus.
Yep. Darrell Jackson, the other Florida State defensive tackle who joined the Mobile band a day or two late. He came in for the last practice or last two practices, I think. It was also very, very impressive in the trenches. I think he has got an awesome frame. He's a really powerful run defender. I don't think he's quite the pass rusher that Lee Hunter and Dominique Orange are, but firmly going to be in the second round conversation for that nose tackle role. But really here, I mean, I think that you really can't turn down Lee Hunter. I think that he is the trigger you have to pull here to be your massive, overwhelming presence on the interior. He's going to be your staple as a run defender on the middle. He's going to plug three gaps, there. And I think he's got the potential to develop into a relatively serviceable pass rusher as well, in addition to being your kind of, go-to run defender.
Do you want to look at your other two positions that you wanted to see just a peek at what was there?
I'll look at safety as well, because I know we talked about McNeil Warren being there too. And I like Emmanuel McNeil Warren. I think he's more of a mid day two guy than somebody I'd take as the first pick on day two.
Okay. All right. So all the normal guys
also
hit. There. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Dylan Thieneman, the Oregon safety, somebody that also I think deserves some talk here. He's a lot of people's safety too. I still have not finalized a grade on him. I need to catch up on his playoff tape at the end of the year before I finalize him. But I think he is, after Caleb Downs, definitely the best athlete at the safety position that's left here. I think he's fun in coverage. He's got good zone instincts. The size and the speed is really, really impressive. The biggest problem to me with Thieneman is he just cannot tackle. And I know that's a fixable issue at the NFL level. If you're going to bet on an issue, teaching a guy how to tackle is relatively easy. With looking at some of the other issues, but I just have a hard time. He's purely an ankle biter. He only wants to tackle by the shoelaces, and I just have a hard time pulling a trigger on a safety like that. But Thieneman deserves to be in this conversation for sure. I wish McNeil Warren had showed up in Mobile too. He was another guy that really would have benefited from Senior Bowl competition, being a group of five player. And for whatever reason, he didn't show up in Mobile, which I think hurts his stock a little bit for me. But they're certainly the two safeties I'd say that deserve conversations here. But I think that Lee Hunter's who I have to pull the trigger on.
Okay, beautiful. Let's do it up. So let's go to the top of the board here. Let's go to that defensive line, and that is where we're going to do it, folks. Keep adding front seven players. I like the cut of your jib, Drew Beatty. So let's do it. Let's hit those chimes, baby. 33rd overall pick, the first pick of the second round, is 2-round post-Senior Bowl mock draft in which Drew Beatty at Iron City Film is, operating the controls of who the hell is picked. We select defensive lineman out of Texas Tech. Lee Hunter has entered the proverbial octagon for Smith. We have one last pick to get to here, Drew Beatty. It is 44th overall. As we mentioned before, this is the second round pick that the New York Jets have. They acquired this, of course, in the massive Quinnen Williams trade. So, man, we've got a little bit all over the place positionally here. Where do we get with the final pick in our 2-round mock draft?
I think if I had to pick three positions here, this is between linebacker and safety. Again, for sure, those are firmly in the conversations. Those are two of the biggest needs on defense to me. I think there's some real value additions here at the spot. And the other thing I think is in play that we talked about briefly last week as well as quarterback. Do you take one of these day two shots on QB? And I think a guy that's been really popular in the chat that I've seen so far is LSU's Garrett Nussmeier. I think he is the only guy you talk about in this range. He was certainly my biggest ticket quarterback coming into Mobile. For anybody that's followed me for any time at all, I was a huge Garrett Nussmeier guy last year. I love the 2024 tape. And I think he's gonna go a lot higher than people realize. I think he is somebody the league is a lot higher on than public perception.
Mm-hmm.
And I understand like the mental traits are hard to come by with QBs, especially in the modern day where processing like offenses are built to make things easier mentally on quarterbacks. So you see it kind of stunt a lot of quarterbacks' mental development. But Nussmeier is somebody that has real NFL level processing ability. He's a master pocket manipulator. The biggest concerns you see were sort of the ball placement issues that popped up this year, the lack of velocity and the throwing ability, the arm talent. I think, again, like I said last week, a lot of that comes from injury. He was playing through a nasty oblique injury that took a lot of that kind of rotational torque in his throwing motion away this year. I came away generally unimpressed by all of the quarterbacks in Mobile. I thought Nussmeier looked pretty rough through most of the team periods. He had a good day two. Day one and day three were a little bit rougher to me.
Okay.
But overall, it seems like he impressed a lot of scouts down there. He came away, for my money, from what I've heard, I think he came away positive compared to he came out on the other side better than he went in going into Mobile. I think he helped his stock at the Senior Bowl. I still am not quite comfortable enough to pull the trigger here at 44 with the other needs the Jets have. I think if you see him fall on top of day three, you pull that trigger immediately, but I don't know how realistic that is. But yeah, I think Nussmeier firmly deserves to be in the conversation here, but I'm just not quite convicted enough to pull the trigger.
Okay. Well, it's good to hear, though, because, again, with the Jets quarterback situation, we all like hope. The hope is the unopened Christmas present under the tree that could be a franchise quarterback. It might not be, but it could be. And,
Right.
Jet fans we're constantly searching for that. So that is it. By the way, just to show you some of the stuff out in the audience, No Chill Senpai says, Casey Concepcion is trash at 16. That's like drafting Tank Dell at 16. So, yikes, people doing some angry yelling already. We haven't even posted the mock draft on the internet yet in terms of social media. That's not a good sign, Drew. Anywho, but again, as a draft person, I imagine you get this all the time. When you have draft takes or you're one way or the other, you are constantly hearing polarizing things. If that's the greatest draft pick I've ever heard, that's the most terrible draft pick. Quit your job. Go back to being whatever you were. So, you're going to, again, that's just the nature of the beast, I guess. You're going to have thick skin for this line of work.
Always how it goes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep, I posted my first round mock draft, just
Definitely.
after post Senior Bowl first round mock, and just about every fan base was upset with me. So
okay, good. All right, you want everyone to be hated on equally. You want everyone to hate you equally. Right. That means you're doing it right. All right, what's another position you want to peek at?
I think here it's either safety or linebacker to me.
Okay, so let's look at linebacker.
One guy who I watched briefly, another guy that was supposed to be in Mobile that wasn't at safety is Arizona's Genesis Smith. Which is a real disappointment to me. I was hoping to be able to see him. I know I took AJ Halsey, the LSU safety here. Another guy who was supposed to be in Mobile and ended up not showing up.
Sure.
But Genesis Smith is actually my safety too, now behind Caleb Downs, that I've dug a little bit deeper into this position. I think he is the most well-rounded player at safety in this class beyond Caleb Downs. Mm-hmm. I think that he is a above average athlete. Not an elite athlete, but certainly above the mean. I think he is a reliable tackler, which is rare in the safety group. I think that he is just a very technically sound player. He's got good instincts in zone. You saw him play enough man coverage to feel okay about it. In Arizona, I think that he has a really quick trigger. He'll come down and stick his nose in the run game when he needs to. I think that he's got a fun click and close. He's got solid enough range. Mm-hmm. I think there's nothing about Genesis Smith's game that worries me. There's nothing that I feel he can't do at an NFL level. Kind of a jack of all trades type safety. So if I do take a safety in this range, I think it's going to be Genesis Smith. I know that's kind of the consensus is not going to like that either because you can see he's 104th on the PFF board. Taking him at 44 is a little bit of a reach by those standards. Top 30 player on my board for sure. He's going to be firmly a top 50 guy when it's all said and done for me. I think he is really, really impressive. But I think I am not going to be able to turn down the value at linebacker. There's just too many guys at the linebacker spot.
Before you say that, I just want to say that, hey, when I was a kid, I had a Sega Genesis, baby. That thing was sweet. So if Genesis gives me half the amount of memories I got from the Sega Genesis, that would be absolutely marvelous. Okay, you want to go to linebacker? Totally copacetic with me. no Jet fan will come. Well, just kidding. Of course, I'm sure some Jet fan, I guess, will complain out there in the universe. But yeah, I mean, linebackers were a disaster last year, so definitely need an upgrade here. But it sounds like you have your eye on someone. There's an apple of your eye in this group, isn't there, Drew Beatty?
Yes, I think there are kind of two specific linebackers that pop here out of this group, and that's Texas Tech linebacker Jacob Rodriguez, who did show up in Mobile and was another outstanding player. Texas Tech players had a great week. Rodriguez was all over the field. I mean, he was already a guy that had some Heisman hype during the year. Actually, he was somebody that people were kind of pushing that wagon for. I was never in on that. I think he's always been firmly a late day 2, early day 3 player. But I think he really showed out at the Senior Bowl. The athletic traits are apparent with him. He's really violent when shedding blocks and attacking second level blocks. Was very, very solid in coverage when you doing those coverage drills against the running backs. He was one of the better coverage linebackers, I thought, in Mobile. So certainly going to be in. I think this is the range he goes in, probably in that like 40 to 60 pick range. I think you see Rodriguez go. But to me, I cannot turn down Josiah Trotter out of Missouri. He is my linebacker too. And for my money, he might be the most violent player in this whole draft class. Still an incredibly young. He's a true junior, incredibly young player. No, not a lot of people expected him to declare this year, including me. I thought he was for sure a 27 guy. But he did declare as a true junior, and I mean, firmly my linebacker too, and a stacked linebacker class too. But maybe not the rangiest coverage linebacker that you'd want. But he is one of the best run defenders as a whole in his class. I mean, he is dynamite when taking on second level blocks. He will blow a hole through an offensive lineman's chest when he meets him at the second level. Virtually unblockable coming down when run fitting. I mean, he's just got so much power in his hands and in such a compact frame. He's just an average athlete. I don't think you're worried about his range or his athleticism. It's just probably not a pro on the scouting report, but I probably wouldn't call it a weakness or a negative. But again, I just think he's such a violent run defender. You've got, like I mentioned earlier, question marks at linebacker for the Jets. And I think he's going to end up being, I wouldn't be surprised if he's a first round player by the end of this draft cycle. And I can't turn down the value for my linebacker too at 44th overall.
Okay. So officially your pick is?
Josiah Trotter, linebacker out of Missouri.
Okay, there you go. So let's hit those chimes. With the 44th overall pick, the second Jets second round draft choice. This one comes via the Dallas Cowboys in the Quinnen Williams trade. We're going linebacker, baby. Josiah Trotter out of Missouri. Booyah! Hit the board. And now PFF is doing its calculations. Beep, boop, bop. I know Drew's on the edge of his seat to see what his report card is from his professors and teachers. It is grading it behind the scenes. The math is going through, and we will again post this on our social media portals shortly after the draft. Drew will be tagged on social media, so you guys can directly file all your complaints or compliments. They both start with a C. I'm not sure what there will be more of there, but nonetheless, we have that option available here on the program. So let you recap. Just take a gander here at your draft haul here as I post your little draft card here on the program. And then real quick before we get you out of here, we'll get any Senior Bowl stuff off your chest that you want to get from your notebook here. But here is, again, the final draft results. If you've joined us in or out on the program, here is the final results of Drew Beatty's mock draft. A nice B- there, Drew. So there you go. You can put that on your fridge for mama.
I'll take it. I think they like that a lot more than my last one. So.
Okay, hey, that's progress, baby. That's what this is all about, I'm sure. Randomly, you taking players higher or lower than they believe, which leads to angry or positive draft grades. So here it is. We have edge rusher Ruben Bain out of Miami, or defensive lineman, depending on your perception. Casey Concepcion, the wide receiver at Texas A&M with the 16th overall pick. Lee Hunter, defensive lineman, Texas Tech. And then Josiah Trotter, linebacker in Missouri. That Jets defense was awful last year. So to invest in 3 of those top 4 picks on defense is welcome news for a lot of Jet fans after that performance last year. So what do you make of your haul now that you have it? Because again, when you're picking Ruben Bain at 2, you don't know how the rest of the simulation is going to play out. So ending up with this haul, how do you feel about it?
Yeah, man, I feel really good just judging by my board. I think you came away with all, top 20 to 30 players on my board. And I think I understand if fans are worried about the lack of offense in this. A lot of people. I feel like every mock I do for any team ends up incredibly defense heavy. And I always catch flack for not helping the offenses enough when watching this. But I think Jets. I don't have to tell y'all. Obviously, the defense was an issue. But also, I just think that when you look at this draft class as a whole, the talent level is lower overall. We've heard that consistently, but the strengths of this class are just all over on defense. Like, this is not an offensive draft. At the end of the day, I think all of the top end talent is there, and the depth is there on defense. And I think this is really a draft to bolster your defensive unit. And I just think that you pick where the value is, and in this class, that is on the defensive side of the ball more often than not.
All right, there you go. Again, we'll be tweeting that out after the show with the full link to the show if people want to see sort of how we got there. I think sometimes context lacks when you just see random picks on a board, what sort of went through the thought process there. Drew, we only have you for a few more minutes, so I'll ask as many questions as I can fit in this limited amount of time. What was your biggest Senior Bowl takeaway? Again, you were there live in Mobile, Alabama for the Senior Bowl. Your biggest takeaway was what?
Probably the corner group. I think that I came in thinking that corner was the strongest position group in this draft class, and I think that the Senior Bowl only confirmed it. The secondary looked really, really good in Mobile. The safety group looked strong. The corner group looked outstanding. I think they were, as a whole, the most impressive unit. Defensive line was close. Interior defensive line also looked very strong. Those are probably the two best for my money.
What players surprised you most? And it could be for good or bad, right? You had high expectations and they underwhelmed, or vice versa. You didn't really think of that player much, and then wow, they sort of popped on the screen. Who fit either one in both those categories, or whichever one stands out to you from your observations?
Yeah, I think I'll do one good, one bad, just to kind of even it out. Probably my disappointment was USC receiver Jacoby Lane, which is a guy a lot of fans had their eye on because he's another one of those kind of ball winner type guys. He's got an awesome highlight reel of like one-handed grabs and spectacular catches and stuff. I think he came in. I was lower on him too, just for the same reasons that I talked about with Denzel Boston earlier. But he was extremely disappointing all week. He got kind of dominated in press coverage by all the corners out there. Really struggled to separate. I think he was just overall probably hurt his stock a lot more than he intended going to Mobile. And probably the biggest surprise, not the biggest name player, not going to be super interesting to a lot of people. I didn't know his name coming in. The only Division III player that I know of at the Senior Bowl was Tyrant Montgomery, the receiver out of John Carroll. And he came in and dominated everybody the entire week of practice. Came in, beating SEC, Big Ten, all these big name corners. And this kind of nobody kid coming out of John Carroll and D3 comes in and just kind of dominated everybody in the team periods and the one-on-ones. Tyrant Montgomery was firmly my biggest winner of the week. And I think he's going from potential UDFA to probably high day 3 pick after his performance in Mobile. And I think he's somebody that a lot of people need to learn his name before he gets super popular.
Wow, that's awesome. And I was trying to see to confirm because I was pretty certain of it, but I can't see what the content is now. I'm pretty sure Jets Media, shout out to Richie, who was down there with Roundtable Sports. I'm pretty sure he got an interview with him. I was trying to find it on his YouTube page, but I couldn't. So I'm pretty sure that happened. I could have totally made that up. But anywho, one last one here. A new executive director is running the operations. That's Drew Fabianich. Jim Nagy ran it forever. I heard the practices were later than normal. Does that get the Drew stamp of approval? Yes, or did you not like it?
I did kind of prefer it. They moved them. Normally they start at 9. They started at 1 this year. So you instead of being wrapped up at 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon, you wrapped up at 6. It was a lot colder than I would have liked, but timing wise, I think it worked out because you get to sleep a little bit later while you're down there. You get to kind of go straight to dinner from the stadium. It makes it easier to kind of the timeline matches up. You'll get dinner, come back, write an article or two, and then you can kind of go hit the bars or whatever out on the town. So I think just timeline wise, I preferred it. But it did mess a lot of people up there that I talked to. A lot of people didn't like it.
Okay, beautiful. Well, Drew, I appreciate every time you're able to join us here on the show. Again, we'll keep doing these every Monday. Great post-Senior Bowl mock draft, and I'm sure there'll be plenty of mock drafts sprinkled out throughout the offseason. Thanks for joining us, brother.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me on.
There he is, Drew Beatty, Iron City film. Again, if you're just joining us here on the program, make sure you guys like the video here on YouTube. We appreciate you. We have over 300 people in the room watching across our social media platforms. That's Twitter, Facebook, YouTube. I know people watching the replay. Drew was just talking about getting extra sleep down there at the Senior Bowl. Some people like getting extra sleep, not waking up early. That's totally cool. That's what YouTube's for. You guys can just watch the show in that manner. Or the audio-only listeners, I appreciate you guys as well. And hopefully, like I said, repeating the picks and making sure you guys are fully in the conversation, because I know you're not being able to see everything on the screen. Hopefully we're able to give you an elite product as well. Again, in case you just joined us, here is the mock draft performed by our draft expert, Drew Beatty. There you go. 4 picks in the top 44. A lot of opportunity to turn around this Jets roster. And I want to also reiterate this, that the point of this exercise is to have conversations about draft prospects. That's why I do it. And that's why I think it's super valuable. I love the draft. I love hearing about prospects. But like Drew could, as long as the simulation allows it, basically do the same mock draft every week. But I hope he doesn't. I hope he mixes it up. He really likes Casey Concepcion, so that's fine. He can keep having that pick for a while, but I'm sure eventually he'll go to different positions, because there's just a lot of opportunities on the board, and I'll be curious to see where it happens. So you guys will be able to grade the mock. We'll post it on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, and you guys will be able to see it and be able to react to it accordingly there as well. We will open up the phone lines here in just a moment. We're here in the month of February. I'll be back live. I'm not ending the show, but I'm just saying I will be live again later today at 11 o'clock. We have a massive announcement on the MC Show digital channel, which I'm very excited about. And thank you guys so much for helping us search over 500 subscribers. Hell, we're closing on 600 subscribers, which is crazy. So, man, the growth is unbelievable, baby, on our MC Show digital channel. So that'll be fun. We're going to grade all the hires. All the hires are now done in the National Football League. There are 10 vacancies. There are now 10 hires. Well, sort of. One of them includes Clint Kubiak, who's part of the Seattle Seahawks Super Bowl team. So technically, that one isn't official until after the Super Bowl. But by all accounts, that's how, wink, wink, that one sort of figured out. So we will grade the 10 hires in the NFL from A+ to F-, I guess. I don't even know if that's the lowest grade. We'll figure it out. But we'll grade everyone. We'll rank them. What coaching hires did we like? Which ones did we hate? That's coming up at 11 o'clock live here on a Monday. So looking forward to that. That should be a real treat. All right, let's do this. Let's open up the phone lines, baby. There's a few Jets topics to get into. We'll get into those. I'll answer your comments. We'll take your phone calls. We'll play a half timeout. And then there's more coming up after this right here on Boy Green Daily.
1, 2, 3. Whoa! Boy Green Daily, Boy Green Daily, Boy Green Daily. Talking Jets football, man. Boy Green Daily, Boy Green Daily, Boy Green Daily. The New York Jets Football Club. Offense, defense, special teams, watch Jets football with Boy Green. Everyone, J-E-T-S, Jets, Jets. Boy Green Daily, Boy Green Daily, Boy Green Daily. Talking Jets football, man. Boy Green Daily, Boy Green Daily, Boy Green Daily. Offense, defense, special teams, watch Jets football with Boy Green. J-E-T-S, Jets, Jets, Jets. Let's go!
Welcome back to BGD, everybody. I am your handsome host, Paulison Jr., a.k.a. Boy Green. Now, as always, the beauty is in the eye of the beholder. So that's also probably why a bunch of people remain on the audio-only version of this podcast. I'll try not to take that personally. Well, you guys can feel free to call into the show. That's a pinned comment on youtube.com/boygreen25. If you'd like to get your participation trophy for the day, feel free to do so here on the show and maximize and utilize all of those opportunities in the universe. You guys can also send in your super chat questions and comments as well. And look at that, baby. A membership raining from the high heavens. You love to see it. Let's hear some more of those chimes. Boom shakalaka. Okay, let's go to it. That went to J-Bo. Not quite J-Boy, J-Bo. 852-2002. So I don't know if that's a brother from another mother, perhaps of some kind. I don't judge. But there you go. Jabo, welcome to the Boy Green Coffee Club, baby. And again, guys, that espresso club was litty over the weekend. That's for sure. What an absolute time. So make sure you guys jump on the Boy Green Espresso Club as well. All the details in the YouTube description down below. We have 2 YouTube membership groups. And that's another one you guys can jump on the train for. So that is a raffle ticket for you, Jared B. Appreciate that, pal. Let's friggin' go. Absolutely brilliant. Terrific. All right, let's go to the phone lines now here on the program as we await more activity in the comments section. Thank you again to Jared B. Appreciate that. Thank you very much. We got Hep to start us off here. What's up, Hep?
Hey, Paul. I was thinking about that $20 million increase we're getting this year?
22 million, yes.
Okay. Why don't we just take that and give it right to Linderbaum?
See, that's what I'm saying. So many people think I'm an idiot. And, well, I don't really combat that on a day-to-day basis. I may add more fodder to that. But if you think about that, right, 22 million, surprisingly,
found money. Yeah.
Right. Just, and fell for the heavens. You're like, oh, wow, where did this guy? It's like you're walking down the street, stumble. Well, is that $20? Sweet. Now you have $20 that you didn't have before. 22 million literally fell from the gods. And for the people that go, geez, that Linderbaum, pretty expensive. Geez, there's other positions that I would use. Like, come on, man. Let's get elite players. Okay. Would I prefer an elite quarterback? Yes. Are one of those available? Oh, wait, I'm being told no. Well, okay, I got to make other business decisions. If I'm going to light this money on fire, I want to use it on elite players. I don't want to force holes. I know we have a lot of needs, but let's say our number one need, I don't know. Everyone's going to debate about it, but let's just say it's the second wide receiver to Garrett Wilson. Am I just going to go, well, Wan'Dale Robinson, you're the best wide receiver out there. Here's 22 million. No, I'd be an idiot. No, you have to, again, that's why they get paid a lot of money. You have to break down all the free agents that are possible in the universe and discern who you think are the best. You'll have a verticality and a horizontal board. Vertical saying, okay, here are all the best players. Horizontal, here's where we have splits. And then you make those decisions, man. Yeah. So yes, speak to it.
Yeah. The Jets have always done well when they have an elite center.
Yes.
And I think if we draft a guard, hopefully, or one or two, and then we keep one of the other two, and we have Linderbaum.
Yeah.
We're gonna gel, and that offense is gonna get better and better all the time. So I'm looking forward to that. Oh, and by the way, I spoke to Mrs. Hep. She gave me the green light on joining the club. I just have to work out the computer stuff.
Okay. So. Yeah, we'll figure that out. But excellent. I can't wait to have you for the next one. Hep, a lot of people are asking for you. So, oh, baby, that'll be fun.
Okay, guys. Love you. Peace out.
There he is. Hep. Yes, he will be joining the Boy Green Espresso Club, baby. Again, once the technology is figured out. And again, folks, I know this is a new world, and I'm not great with pressing buttons either, but here it is on your screen again. We have 2 new YouTube membership. Well, not 2 new. One has been here forever. That's Boy Green Coffee Club. That's $2.99. You see that on the left side of your screen. And for our audio only listeners, we have 2 membership levels here on YouTube. We have $2.99. That's the old classic Boy Green Coffee Club. Loyalty badges, emojis, early access to videos, member shoutouts, priority reply to comments. But the Espresso Club is a brand new level we just created last month. We just had our first monthly Espresso Club meeting. It went over 4 hours, people. Good Lord. I mean, we talked about crime drama, New York Jets, making babies. I mean, it got weird, man. I'm not going to lie. But we did it all together. So we're going to do that once a month. There'll also be members-only shorts that you guys will also have access to as well. And it's recreating that tailgate magic, baby. So if you guys want to join the Boy Green Espresso Club, I highly recommend it. And here's one of the perks of joining the Boy Green Espresso Club that isn't even on that list. Every single month that you remain a Boy Green Espresso Club, you get 5 bonus raffle tickets. Raffle tickets? All right, let's do math together here, folks. All right, taps the board. Click, click, click. Okay, raffle tickets are normally $3 a piece. So 5 raffle tickets would be $15. But wait a second, the Boy Green Espresso Club's only $6. Well, that's the magic, baby. We can make up whatever the hell we want. So if you join the Boy Green Espresso Club for only $6, you get 3 extra free raffle tickets for every contest moving forward every single month. So, folks, it's one of the great perks. It's incentive to join the Boy Green Espresso Club and join some of those live conversations, which are a lot of fun. So terrific there. All right, let's do this. Okay, so we have Mr. Famous Fulton here on the show. Mr. Famous Fulton, good morning.
Good morning, Paul. How are you this morning?
Doing good, Mr. Famous Fulton. Are you ready for a surprise, sir?
About what?
Okay, so here you go. Wow! Oh, you have something to play. Oh well, you
Yeah,
surprised me
today is National Ukulele Day.
Ah, yes, of course. How could I not have known that? Of course. Okay, yes, right. Yes, I should have had it on my calendar. National Ukulele Day. Okay.
Yep.
Do you want to play a tune?
I'm gonna try. I'm gonna try to do it.
All right, just lean your phone so we can see you strumming that ukulele.
Yep. You have a song request I can play for you?
Or? Can you do "Bye Bye Miss American Pie"? Fill my Chevy to the levee.
I could try, but I don't know what key it is.
Okay, yeah, that's a good point. All right, you tell me. I like it. There's a lot of songs I like. I don't know.
Okay, well, probably some Wagon Wheel for you.
Some what?
Wagon Wheel.
Oh, okay.
All right, here we go. Sorry, let me think. Let me get it straight.
Yeah, no. That's all right. Yeah. Take your time. I'll get paid by the hour.
Yeah. Okay. And now south to the land of the pines, from my way to North Carolina. Stand up the road, I pray God I see headlights. I made down the coast in 17 hours, picking me a bouquet of dogwood flowers, and I'm hoping for early I could see my baby tonight. So rock me, mama, like a wagon wheel. Rock me, mama, any way you feel. Hey, mama, rock me. Rock me, mama, like a wind in the rain. Rock me, mama, like a southbound train. Hey, mama, rock me.
Ah, very nice, Mr. Famous Fulton. Yes. Mr. Famous Fulton, real quick, you may just have to move the mic. It's a little mouth.
Yeah. You're fine.
Okay. Yeah. There you go. Now we got it. We're getting a little bit of a hot mic there, but wow, that was a beautiful song. Thank you. What? I'm gonna forget it now. You wrote a recent song. Oh my goodness! Can you name some of the songs you most recently have original and performed, and then maybe it'll jog my memory?
Yeah. I did this one song in the recording studio for a long time. It was Jesus Coming Get Us Very Soon. I wrote that one.
Okay.
I also wrote a Christmas one. I wrote.
What was the Christmas one?
Well, it was called some kind of Christmas song or something.
Okay. No, that's all right. I was trying to remember the one song you sang that was a real. All of them are hits, but that was a real jam.
Was it the one with the 250th anniversary?
Oh yes. Can you do that one?
I could try. Let me see if I can find my. Let me see if I can find my lyrics, and I'll be right back.
Okay. Great. That'll be good. Okay, he's gonna go find his lyrics. We'll be right back to you, Mr. Famous Fulton. Whenever you find them, just give me a thumbs up on the screen or something. We'll get you back on there. All right. While we're waiting for Mr. Famous Fulton, and we've got a surprise announcement for Mr. Famous Fulton. We'll get to that later, I suppose. We'll go here to Philly Doodles.
Oh, what's going on, dude?
Okay, what? Do you got a tuba or something? You next or what?
What happened?
Just an instrument or something. I don't know. We just had
I
Mr. Famous Fulton playing the ukulele. I thought you had like a piano.
You're
gonna. We had electric guitar from EZ. We've had Hep rocking his guitar. We've had ukuleles. I was just, I don't know if all of a sudden you're going to turn one of those whiteboards into an instrument and just start strumming it like nobody's business. I'm unaware.
Freaking kazoo or
oh, that'd be cool. Yeah.
You know what I should learn is the world's tiniest violin for the Jets last season. We just had.
Oh.
Just symphony of shit. you know,
So
I hate to be
certainly fitting. Yeah.
I have a. It's funny. I have an electric drum set upstairs. I really didn't get into it, but yeah, I
Oh
do.
wow, that'd be cool to
Yeah.
get on the show.
And my fiance, she has an electric and an acoustic guitar. But
Wait, what? You guys are a band?
no, no, no. No.
Oh, you got to get her on the show one of these days. I need to hear.
Yeah,
her.
I do.
Yeah.
Yeah, she'll just come on here and talk crap about the Jets, say that she loves me enough to stay with the Jets, but
Wow.
yeah.
I appreciate the honesty at least.
Yeah, I'll be.
It's refreshing.
So let me talk about two things. Well, first of all, let me commend the fact that tried and steady, like the Jets, maybe your beard is coming in. So maybe it's signs that Glenn could get some shit together if your beard's coming back. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying?
That's true. I was just going through my phone. I'm not normally a guy that keeps photos on his phone. Like once I take them and then post them somewhere on Facebook, Instagram, then I delete them. Like, why am I just holding these photos hostage? But recently, as I've gotten older, I've just kept them. And then like we had a small pocket of time that we didn't have enough time to do something we wanted, but we had to before the kids went to sleep. So we were all just scrolling on our phones. I'm like going through my photos, and it says the date on all the photos. And I was like, oh wow, look at there. I was at Jets training camp with a full beard. I was like, oh, that was nice. And then I'm just going through all the times. And yes, it brought me back to the I was posing for a photo with John Abraham, salute to the great Jets legend, John Abraham. And I had my beard and I was like, or with Lou B, he was at that Jets Giant Joy practice with me. Of course, they invited me to. And there I was like, oh, yeah, that's the beard in its full glory. So it's coming in. It's coming in very nicely, slowly, but nicely. Yeah.
Yeah. Hell yeah. So, real quick, I mean, it was kind of funny. I joined right as Beatty was picking, I guess, 44 there.
Yeah.
What were his options at 16 and 33? Do you remember?
Yeah, so at 16, unfortunately, he's only two wide receiver options that I've seen, like, seriously considered at that point are Denzel Boston and Casey Concepcion. So Mekhi Lemon went top 10, so he was off the board. That's the most common question. I have not posted this mock yet. I won't till the end of the show, like on social media.
Mm-hmm.
But the most common question I get when he takes, and he's done it, I think two times now.
Yeah.
Casey Concepcion is, wait, where was Mekhi Lemon? I'm like, he was already off the board. Sorry. Or if Arvell Reese is the second pick, they're like, where's Ruben Bain? I'm like, well, obviously he was available, but he didn't. So at 16. I got to try to remember in my head. He did look at wide receivers. He did say that Ty Simpson was still on the board, and he says that he thinks Ty Simpson might not even be on the board by the time draft time comes at 16.
Yeah.
Like he may go higher. I'm like, wow, okay.
Yeah.
So something might happen there. He wanted like Sonny Styles, but Sonny Styles went top 10. So that was off the board. Wide receivers. We looked a little bit about everything. He looked at quarterbacks, but again, he thought it would be ingenuine to pick Ty Simpson at 16 because he doesn't think he's going to be there. And I went, wow, okay.
Yeah. What about 33?
Oh yeah. Lee Hunter was one of the best players on the board, but then there was a lot of people he's taken before. So AJ Halsey was at the top of the board. The kid McNeil Warren, who Daniel Jeremiah super high in the 20s or something. He was there, a safety out of Toledo. So he was still on the board. All the other guys, Big Citrus, Dominique Orange, some of the other defensive tackles were still all there on the board. Trying to think of who else was there.
Was Caleb Banks
on the board? No, he went in the first round. Oh yeah, that was another consideration at 16. Thank you for
16, right?
jogging my memory. Yeah, he was talking about Caleb Banks because he saw him down there at the Senior Bowl, and he talked about how well he performed. But he said the reason he didn't take Caleb Banks was he took Ruben, who some people view as an interior player, so it may be overkill to go bang bang interior if that's what you project Ruben to be. So I said, okay, I understand. But yeah, he could strongly consider Caleb Banks.
Yeah. No. So to me, it's just weird. I know, obviously everybody's gonna have different opinions, but he's I think he's pretty far off consensus for certain picks to me with other, you know what I mean? Other takes out of the analysts. Yeah. So to me, it's like obviously we can't really tell until we see who's selected as the OC and who they round out their staff with.
Which, by the way, real quick, so yesterday morning, Rich Cimini of ESPN, of course, joined Jake Asman and Mike Tannenbaum on New York Game Day, their New York show from 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. on ESPN New York here locally. And Rich Cimini told them that he expects sort of this OC hire to happen in the next 24 to 48 hours. He said that yesterday morning. So it sounds like these in-person interviews we have a few scheduled today. Maybe the Frank Reich one's also scheduled today. That would make sense to bang them all out and then just make a decision. So we should know that OC, whether it's I would be surprised if it's live on the show. I'd be stunned if they were able to get all those interviews in so quickly and then break it. So maybe on my 11 o'clock show, they break it, I guess, if they really did these interviews early. But we should know here very shortly on that, just to make sure I get that out in the universe.
Yeah, I liked him talking about Tyron Montgomery. Obviously, everybody was all hyped up on him. But during the game, that kid Hurst looked good during practice, for sure, the wide receiver. 1,000%. I don't know if you saw that running back. I think they were talking about how he really only got to run the ball for like 43 yards during the season. Ott. I don't know if you watched the Senior Bowl. Ott looked really good, the running back. I would take a flyer on someone like that if Brees isn't, a situation if we don't get him back. Or really just Black from Indiana. But I don't know. I mean, when it came to quarterbacks, they were all pretty bad in the Senior Bowl.
That's what Drew said. Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of pundits were all high on Taylon Green just being such an athlete. That kid was not good. His decision making, he threw a ball across his body in the entire field. And I was like, oh, so you're going to be doing that in the pros. Even in practices, this is not, you're done. He cooked himself with the one play. His decision making,
and he does have the big size, right? Well, what's it? Let's see.
6'6".
Yeah. Oh, there you go. So 6'6" and a massive. So I'm sure a lot of people are going to be intrigued by that frame for sure.
Yeah, I just think moves like that will cost you for sure.
Yeah.
But honestly, I wasn't with it, and I do think with $22 million or not, I would say throw Linderbaum in the bag, see if we can get him. If you can't get him, I wasn't into drafting interior lineman, and then I noticed the interior lineman was it was pretty spot on for Senior Bowl.
Yeah,
I take Rutledge with that 44th pick. Call it expensive, but I take him and just put him right behind Myers, and then when he's ready, take over.
There you
kick Myers right to the friggin' bench. But yeah, those are my takes, dude. That's all I got.
Appreciate it. Thanks, Philly Doodles. There you go. Him and the wife could be starting up that band. We could be seeing it. That could totally be happening. Speaking of bands, we'll go back to that here in just a second. But as Jared B., our moderator, has noticed something in the chat, he says, I've never seen the chat with less green. A lot of apparently Boy Green Coffee Club memberships have expired in the chat for several people. So people, make sure you hit that re-sign button, rejoin the Boy Green Coffee Club. I'm seeing a lot of normal people here in the chat that are normally Boy Green Coffee Club members, but it looks like their memberships have expired. So let's get the green back in there, baby. Boy Green, New York Jets green. Let's get that green cooking in there. That's a great observation there from Jared B. Plus, of course, you guys get raffle tickets for all those as well. So another big reason to hit that. It's $2.99, people. Dirt cheap. Let's jump on that. All right, let's go back to our concert here. Mr. Famous Fulton. Wow, he is dressed and ready to impress.
Yes, I am.
Okay. All right, go ahead. Lay it on.
All right, sounds great. All right, here we go. Let's talk about life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. The year 1776. Talk about independence. We formed the tea colonies from Great Britain to be free and to gather and be. 250 years ago, the Declaration was signed. We celebrate in July. But when it was signed in August, John Hancock was fifth to sign. That's all I got.
Okay, beautiful. Wonderful job. Thank you so much, Mr. Famous Fulton. Before you leave, we have a surprise.
Yes.
I want to give a massive shout out to Stephen Foxy. Now, I don't know if you know this, Mr. Fan, but every month we do giveaways here on the channel. Are you aware of this?
I'm aware of it.
Well, our winner from the January raffle, Stephen Fox, aka Foxy, would like to donate his raffle prizes to you, Mr. Famous Fulton, and he
Oh
would
my goodness!
your prize pack to you. So, Mr. Famous Fulton, congratulations. You will be
Thank you.
receiving our January raffle prize pack. Thank you to Stephen Fox for donating that to you. It's amazing. So here's what's going to happen, Mr. Famous Fulton. When we
Okay.
take you off camera, you know that private chat that you can talk to me with?
Yeah.
Okay. What I need you to do is give me some sort of contact information for you, an email or something if you have it, or something for your family or maybe your mom or whoever it is, because I want to connect the dots because we've got to get your shipping information so we can send you all this stuff. But I don't want you to put it in the public chat. I don't want everyone knowing where you live. So we can either reach out to your mom if you want, if that's better or easier for you, or whoever. Okay?
Actually, Paul, my mom is here.
Okay. So here. Yeah, so here's what I'm going to do, Mr. Famous Fulton. I'm going to take you off camera, and then you can explain to your mom that you just won this awesome raffle prize pack, and all we need to do is get your info to ship it to you. But we can do it, again, not publicly, so everyone doesn't know where you live, so we'll do it privately. Okay, Mr. Famous Fulton?
Yep, sounds great, Paul. Thank you so much.
Of course. So we're going to take you off, Mr. Famous Fulton. I'll drop my email and a variety of contact information for you so your mom can reach out to me and we can make this happen. So there you go. There's my email, paulasdenjr@gmail.com. So I just dropped that in the private chat. Tell you or your mom, Mr. Famous Fulton, to reach out to that email. We'll get all the bells and whistles. Long story short, you have won all of our raffle prizes for the month of January. And of course, all that love goes to Stephen Fox. That's very nice of him to win the raffle and then donate all of that to Mr. Famous Fulton. Thank you, Stephen Fox. That's very sweet of you. That's very nice and very selfless. That's a really cool thing to do. So, Mr. Famous Fulton, if you have any questions about getting your information to me, hit me on the private chat and we will figure that out. So, thank you very much. All right, let's get back to the phone lines here. Again, we have 400 people in the room. Like the video, hit subscribe, and we'll make it happen here on the program. We've got the Kyle Clifton call. Kyle.
What is going on, BG?
Hey, what's popping, baby?
So, obviously, I appreciate Steel City's acumen and his expertise.
Sure.
Like Philly, I don't really necessarily agree with some of the movements, and that's fine.
Fair enough.
Yes. I thought Concepcion was a little bit early. I wanted to talk to you about some of the decisioning that needs to go on here.
Okay. All right, sure. Lay it on me.
So, Garrett Nussmeier, do you think he goes in the first?
I do not.
You think he goes in the second?
I don't think so.
Really?
I think, well, right now on February 2nd, I don't. But hell, I mean, we've got a combine and pro days and a lot of 3 months, as Drew Beatty pointed out, to the draft. Maybe he could get into that conversation. Someone sells themselves on him. He was in first overall pick conversations before the year. His dad is a coach. He's from a big ass program at LSU. I'm sure he can work his way into the second round, and maybe a team will convince themselves to do it. So, yeah, maybe. I guess it also depends on Chambliss. What the hell's happening there? Where does Ty go? Ty's probably going to the first round, I would imagine, by all accounts. So,
right.
Yeah. So, seeing whether Chambliss goes or not could, depending on how you feel about him compared to Nussmeier, could change some conversations. But, yeah, maybe not right now. I don't think he is. But at the end of the day, I think you could be convinced to do it, sure.
So, I kind of see Chambliss as a third day 3 guy.
Okay.
I think that after the first round guys, who I think we know who those 2 guys are right now.
Yeah. Yep.
It's Nussmeier who sometime on day 2. I'm just trying to figure out where. If what we're saying about Bain is true, that they think he's going to have to kick inside, I don't think you can take him at 2. And a guy that is kind of positionless right now, like Arvel Reese, I wouldn't be comfortable. We have to make sure that we fill holes with slam dunks.
So would Bailey scare you too? So right, you talk about the 3 guys. Arvel can move all over the place, and sometimes that's a master of all, or whatever that is, a jack of all trades, master of none. So that's scary as shit. Then you go to like Arvell Reese, short arms. I think he might move inside. That's not great. Did Bailey? Everyone says, the run stuffing isn't there. So like, then I'm not.
I think he's too small for.
That you're
he's
wrong,
too
Kyle.
small for
I'm
AG.
just saying, boy, there's some real big questions at the top there with these guys.
I think Bailey's too small for AG. That's my personal opinion.
Yeah.
To me, the safest pick is going to be Tate there too. For us.
Wow. Okay.
Because then you have the true X.
Yep.
You can put AD on the outside, and you can put Garrett in the slot and really open things up. Or you can alternate Garrett between the slot and the boundary depending on the formation you're in.
Mm-hmm.
It gives you a lot more possibilities. Then at 16, then you probably start to hit the defense because Steele City was saying this is a defensive draft. But if you're going to take an offensive player, take it when it's going to be the first skill player off the board, right? Like the first non-quarterback off the board. You secure your guy, you upgrade your entire unit by getting that guy Tate, and then you can start to hit the defense pretty heavy in the other top 50 picks.
Yeah, that's the part where I'm just because a lot of draft experts have put, given the Giants the first receiver off the board, or we'll just use that as an example. But 2 is too rich, but 5 is okay. So the Giants get the receiver, but we don't. Like, how big is the gap from 5 to 2? I'm curious to the open universe. How big is that gap? Because the Jets need a receiver really bad. So.
No, I mean, in a perfect world, you would take a quarterback or an offensive tackle or an edge at 2. But there might not be a guy that perfectly fits what we're trying to do there at 2. And we, in year 2 with this guy on the chopping block, you can't put a square peg into a round hole.
Of course not. Right.
So, obviously one of the things we could do with 33 is there's going to be a lot of interest in that pick is trade back, hopefully get a third rounder out of it, and while possibly retaining a second rounder, maybe later in the round, right? Like you get a late second rounder or late third rounder from that top, that would be great. That's one thing that's going to be on the table for us. But, I think that with the dearth of quarterbacks, there is a real chance that Nussmeier could go at 33 or 44.
Damn. Okay. Well, again, that's we shouldn't be that surprised by it with the quarterback supply and demand and teams being, where they are for. And again, what people thought of him previously before this year and this year, if you want to wash away with the injuries, Drew Beatty was talking about the Blake injury that Nussmeier had that obviously affected him. His statistics were disgusting this past season. So it is intriguing. I do. Obviously, we all want to solve the quarterback position. So to have a swing of a guy that people thought pretty highly of would be intriguing to do. So yeah, wow, 33 or 44. It's possible. It's possible.
So the thing that does for you is if you take him in the second round, then it frees you up to take without inhibition a quarterback in round 1 next year if it doesn't work.
Oh, for sure. Absolutely.
Yeah. So that's the only reason that I think that with the dearth of quarterbacks and, next year on the horizon, I think that might be the way to go. I appreciate your time, BJ. Bye.
There he is, the Kyle Clifton call. Very nice, compelling, interesting. Take Tate at number 2. I like that. Because, again, if you do look at all those front 7 guys, they each have their own issues, their own bugaboos, their own warts, depending on how you perceive them with Bailey, Bain, Reese, in terms of the front 7 players. So that's definitely there. Let's get a membership in. DNY for life. Osa Luis. Welcome to the Boy Green Coffee Club, and love seeing more green in the chat, baby. There's still some OG greens in here. I see Hap Easy, Johnny Boy, Philly Doodles. Oh, yeah, there's a bunch of you in here. Appreciate it, but I saw Jared B was noticing the lack of it. Craig Mechanics. So I love the green that we're representing in the chat. That's beautiful. All right, let's head back to the phone lines. We've got 400 people now in the room. Like the video, hit subscribe here on YouTube. Let's go to one of those greens. One of the leaders of the Coffee Club and Espresso Club. It is easy, baby.
Hey.
Nice.
What?
A nice shirt.
You like the shirt?
Of course, yeah. Black Sabbath, of course. Yeah. You have great taste.
Yeah, it's my Black Sabbath Red Creature shirt.
Oh yeah, let me see. Maybe I'm not getting a good look. Oh, now I see it now. The creature. Oh, I see. Very nice. Oh yeah.
I had this shirt about 2-3 years ago, and someone said, "Oh man, that is a cool shirt." And then it aged out, and then I ordered 2 of them.
Oh, there you go. Nice.
So I got 2 brand new shirts now. And since I'm doing my Black Sabbath band,
Oh, it fits. Very much fits. Yeah.
Yeah. I got the band together now. Finally got the 2 guitar players. Talked to the bass player yesterday. He's got the first 7 songs down. The drummer, I don't worry about Tito, man. He's like, look, you do what you do. Call me when you guys are ready.
Great. When's the first gig?
Oh, it'll be in the summer.
Cool.
The plan is, we're going to be an opening act. So as long as we can get 7 to 10 songs down good as the opening act, you do your 7 to 10 songs, and then you get off the stage. Mm-hmm. Eventually, we want to get up to about 25, 30 songs so that we can do a full show. But I prefer to eventually migrate to the second of 3 acts, because you get the people that come to see the warm-up band, and then people stay to see the headliner, and then they usually leave like halfway through the headliner because it's getting late. So if you're the middle band, they get to see the whole thing.
Oh, yeah,
and they're paying attention.
Yeah.
So, and I'm working on it.
Perfect. Can't wait, man. I'm excited.
Yeah, my memory's not what it used to be. So luckily I have about 5 of the songs down by heart, and I just have to get the rest of them down. I'm trying to learn
riding a bike.
I'm trying to learn NIB right now, and what's the other one? It's another wordy song. It's off of Masters of Reality.
Mm-hmm.
I'll remember it later. You know me; I had my memory with the things. Anyway, back to football.
Yes.
Everyone is saying this is a heavy defensive draft.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of with Kyle Clifton. If there is that one offensive player that you could get early enough that is going to make that kind of a really big difference,
yeah.
Here's my call.
Okay.
If I'm getting phone calls at the second pick, if I'm the GM, if I'm Muji, and people are calling me for that second pick, as long as I don't go beyond 7, I'm doing that trade.
Ooh.
I'll trade down to 7 to do that trade. I won't go any further than 7 though. Because I still want to try to get
blue chip guy.
I still want to get one of those blue chip iconic offensive players.
Yeah.
And then the rest of the draft they say is, and then also now, I'll pick a guy at 7. I'll probably get something for next year, probably another first rounder.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I would do. I would go to get 4 first round picks next year.
That'd be nice. That'd be real.
And then maybe I'd say a first and a third.
Mm-hmm.
Next year's first round pick and this year's third, plus swap the pick if it's high up enough where the points are worth it.
Yeah.
And then if I'm picking like 6 or 7, I'm going to go with the best weapon available. When that kid did his draft, how high did that running back Love go?
Oh, he went 8th to the Saints.
Okay, so if I'm like pick 6 or 7, I might go with Love.
There you go. And you pick up a big asset going from 2 to 5 or 6, and then you get that.
Yeah. And the thing is, though, it all depends on free agency, because I want to get an O-lineman in free agency. I want to get another stud.
Mm-hmm.
Like at least another guard or a center. I want to get the best guard or center in free agency I can grab my hands on.
That'd be nice.
I think that is a priority, and I think they're going to try to do that with Frank Reich or with who's the other guy that's really good?
Greg Roman.
Or Greg Roman. I think if we have Frank Reich or Greg Roman, that might entice maybe a higher quality free agent to the Jets.
Mm-hmm.
I still think that we're damaged, public relations wise, by still having AG there. And I know you love AG, but
yes,
let's hope since we have him, Let's hope that he does do that big turnaround that some other first-year guys have done. The fact that he had to fire everyone that he hired, though, that's leaving kind of a bad taste. And I know that's even bothering you a little bit.
Yeah, of course. Right, yeah.
But then at 16, then I'm probably going to take a linebacker.
Mm-hmm.
And then with 33 and 44, is that what they are, 33 and 44?
That's correct, yep.
33 and 44, I'm probably just going to go best players available. Just whoever's the best. I mean, just grab them. We need blue chip. We need talent.
Yeah.
And then hopefully if we get that third round pick, if we can trade back and get next year's first and the third.
Yeah.
Because, all right, number 2 is worth 2,600 points, right?
Yep.
So what would be first round pick next year and a third round this year? What does that equate to, ballpark?
So it depends on the person you learned the draft chart from. From what I've been told, future picks are worth less typically. Now, 2027 is perceived to be this really big class. So normally it's about half the round. So for instance, like the 16th overall pick is worth 1,000 points. Future drafts are normally evaluated from that standpoint because you don't know if it's going to be higher or lower. So normally a future first is quote unquote 1,000 points on the draft chart is what I was taught.
So who's picking 7th this year?
That is the Washington Commanders.
So
and there's
what
an
would the
1,100 point gap.
Right. So what would the Washington Commanders thing be if they gave us a first round pick next year and a third rounder this year?
So what I think they could do is if Washington moved up from 7 to 2, they would obviously give us 7. They could give us their third, which is 71 overall in the third round. And to maybe balance the scales because the math doesn't quite equate out correctly with the future first and that third,
right?
Is the Jets may have to throw them back like a fifth or a fourth. They may have to flip back the other way to work out the math of it.
Or 2 7s since we got so many of them.
Yeah, the 7. So according to the draft value chart, are worth like 1 point. So like I don't know if they're going to be valued the same way. So they may have to be a little bit richer. But that combination makes sense. So drop down from 2 to 7, pick up a third this year, and then a future first. If Washington was moving up for somebody, that's possible on the board.
Yeah, or take another second this year.
Sure. Yeah. Washington, unfortunately, I don't believe Washington has a second. They don't. So they don't have a second round pick. So you'd have to figure out another team, maybe Cleveland. Cleveland's got a lot of picks.
Like I said, a first next year and a third this year. That would be my price.
I'm willing to negotiate. Sure. Yeah.
I don't know. Is it too rich for their blood? I don't know if that would be too rich for their blood, but
yeah.
But with my anticipation of possibly not keeping AG. I mean, he's really, I know, see, Woody talks kind of cryptically. And the fact that he said he was really unhappy how the season ended, I think he knew we were kind of quote unquote tanking, but I didn't think he was going to expect it to be like fucking 5 straight games of absolute embarrassment.
I imagine not. Yeah.
I think he's kind of got AG's like, look, I'm letting you try to straighten this thing out. I'm giving you the chance, but you have to straighten it out. I think he's definitely on the hot seat. I mean, what do you think? And then I'll go. Now I'll leave it to the next guys.
I appreciate that. Thank you for the call, EZ. Yeah, I mean, the fact of the matter is, AG, right? Maybe there was what we don't know are the private conversations that took place between AG and Woody. Like when AG was hired, and maybe even during the interview process, there was conversation between Woody and AG of like, what do you see for this team in the short term? Are we contending for a Super Bowl? Are we contending for the playoffs? Are we a mediocre team? Are we a bottom of the barrel team? Like what? Like let's just be honest. Between Woody and AG, what's the conversation? What do you think it is? And then whatever he told them, I doubt that AG said, 3 wins, baby, is what's going to happen next year. I doubt that was a conversation, but maybe they were realistic, saying, "Hey, this is going to take a while. No instant coffee. And some of the, like, there are some conflicting things of what AG said. In one sense, AG said, oh, we're here to win now. And fans went, woo, win now. And then we didn't win now, and then it looks bad. But, like, there were other times throughout the offseason where he talked about, like, this isn't an instant coffee league. And he's made other comments, both offseason and in season, that seemed to suggest this was going to be somewhat of a process. So there are a lot of conflicting comments, I guess, that happened this offseason. It wasn't a very clear conversation piece from that standpoint. But I would say this, right? If AG, and I'm not breaking news here, but if AG has another 3-win season, I mean, he is gone like the wind. He is gonzo. I mean, it is over. No question about it. Absolutely over. However, once you start creeping into 6, 7, 8-win ballpark, all of a sudden now the conversation changes. Now, context is important. How did you get to those wins? What happened? Are you 7-10 and like you lost all these close games? Like, what happened? What's the context? It's not just hey, if you don't get 8 wins next year, AG, line drawn in the sand, you're fired. I don't think it's a win thing. I think it is somewhat wins. Like, it can't be 3. But I don't think it's like it has to be 8. I don't know, 7 wins, something like that. At least, hopefully, but you have to be realistic. We need to see who, before I could give any prognostications about what the hell this season could be, or before anyone, quite frankly, who the hell is playing quarterback? And when we find out the answer to that question, that leads to other things, candidly. So, no, I think he's on point there. Our number one Austrian Jets fan, baby, gifting a Boy Green Coffee Club membership. You love to see it. Let's go. That's another raffle ticket for our number one Austrian Jets fan, baby. Appreciate that. Thank you, Austrian. And that membership went to, let's take a quick gander here in the comment section. Appreciate that. We've had some nice gifted memberships here on the show today, including a bunch of raffle tickets at a variety of locations, which is nice. Okay, YouTube's catching up. I'll get that membership from Austrian here in just a second. Yeah, there you go. Went to Peach Farmer. There you go, Peach Farmer out in the audience. You're now a member of the Boy Green Coffee Club. Salud. 15 years says 8 wins. Laugh. Again, we don't know who the quarterback is. So if anyone just comes in and says, the Jets going 0-17, or they say, the Jets winning 10 games or 8 games or 6 games or 5 games, we don't know. Yeah, if they have Lamar Jackson at quarterback, I have a different win projection than they have Kyler Murray or Jacoby Brissett. I don't know. The Jets have $100 million basically in cap space. It's $82 million. But they have all this money in cap space. They have 4 picks in top 44. That's a lot of accelerant to make a quick turnaround. But can they actually execute said turnaround? Well, I guess we're all going to find out together. So, we'll see. That information will be discovered here shortly. 15 years says, if AG is head coach and the projection is always will be terrible. That's what some people think, but okay. We'll see. I have nothing to combat that until we see what the proof is in the pudding. A lot of people think AG's terrible. He's going to continue to be terrible. I would love nothing more than for him to shut up a lot of people and win some games. And then all of a sudden the conversation changes a bit. That's what I hope. I hope AG is able to take the pressure off himself with some wins early in the season. We don't even know what the schedule is going to be, for Pete's sake. That'll be in May. So I'm looking forward to how the conversations evolve. By the way, I see Gators in here, and I want to give a shout-out. He is just randomly talking about Easy here. Burger King Mike needs plenty of those Black Sabbath T-shirts in case he forgets what band he is covering. It's spelled right out there on the T-shirt. That's a good sign. But Gator, I want to give a big shout-out to. He was a big proponent, key contributor to all the new changes that will be happening on our MC Show digital channel in a couple hours. So, Gator, thank you for all your work on that. And I'm super excited to launch a new era of the Man Show Boy Green Digital. That's coming up live at 11 o'clock today, where we're grading and judging all the NFL head coaching hires. So, Gator, thank you for all your help. And if any of you guys ever need help for any of this, I'll throw this up, right? You normally don't see any of this when I'm on the show, but the Boy Green Daily backdrop, the intro, and everything that comes with it. Gator is an absolute, mastermind, genius, everything. with his abilities to create this wonderful, magical world that brings all of this to life. I've received so many compliments, and it's like taking compliments for somebody else because I didn't do it. Gator did it. So shout out to Gator. He does a wonderful job. And subscribe to his YouTube channel and support his work. Gator is terrific. So thank you to Gator for all his help with that as well. So again, guys, let's go full circle here and sort of button up, cross some T's, dot some I's, and then, like I said, we'll be back on live in a couple hours. It sounds like the OC hire is going to happen somewhere between the next 24 to 48 hours. So we should have that coming with us here shortly. The Jets have 3 finalists, and they're the veteran coaches. It is Frank Reich, it is Greg Roman, it is Darrell Bevell. I like that's the direction AG's going. If you're not going to stay with Tanner, who is young and upside, then you got to swing the pendulum the other way and go with a veteran guy who has done it, and that won't be learning on the job. We can all debate how you guys feel about Frank Reich, Darrell Bevell, and Greg Roman, and whether multiple of these individuals will join the staff. But the fact of the matter is, I like that we're rolling in experience. Let's see who the person ends up being. By the way, cheers to Gator McCluskey out there in the audience. And cooking up perhaps a brand new Boy Green intro for the 2026 season. I love doing those every year, so I'll be checking with Gator. I've got some crazy ideas in my head. We'll see how they go from my brain to the universe. We'll see what happens. That should be a lot of fun. So again, OC hire should come in the next 24, 48 hours. The rest of the coaching staff should start getting built out here with Brian Duker, the new DC. The Jets are now going to fill out the positional roles that are vacant on the staff. That'll be coming. The Jets are losing, it looks like, tight ends coach Jeff Blasco. And to me, that's disappointing. The Browns are hiring him for the same role. I don't know what happened there. Zach Rosenblatt said he was 100% safe, and now he's leaving. So I don't know what's happening there. Maybe he doesn't want to take his chances. An offensive coordinator hasn't been hired yet, and his fate would be in an offensive coordinator's hands, and he has a chance to reunite with somebody he's worked with in the past in Todd Monken. So I can't shame him for getting job security, which it must be happening there for Jeff Blasco. But I thought he did a really nice job with our Jets tight ends this year. Jeremy Ruckert had a career year. Targets, catches, yards, caught his first touchdown. Most first downs he's ever had in a season. Most starts he's ever had in a season. Like, Jeremy Ruckert had a really nice year for him. And I know a lot of people are going to look at the numbers and go, that's a sack. Jeremy Ruckert didn't have a drop this year. He just looked like a different player, and I'm happy for Jeremy, and that led him to an extension. Mason Taylor was a few receptions short of the rookie franchise record, so I'm happy for him. But yeah, Jeff Blasco to Cleveland. Mary Kay Cabot had that yesterday. So some still more changes happening, but we're going to get an OC hire here shortly, and then we'll round out the rest of the staff. I'm fascinated to see it. I want to thank everybody for joining us on these Monday episodes. It means the world. These have been a lot of fun. We're about to drop. However you feel about this mock draft, we have a chance to yell about it on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, all these different places. We'll post the mock draft. Again, we'll be back live in about 2-ish hours, live at 11 o'clock for a brand new MC show, Digital Era, which I'm very excited about. We're going to have raffle prizes and gifts and all kinds of fun stuff. It's going to be a lot of fun. So we will tune back in coming up at 11 o'clock. Thank you, everybody, for joining us on the way out. Make sure you guys like the video as we continue to make our chase to, of course, 10,000 subscribers. That is a number that I came up with in my head, and I hope one day that we're able to achieve it. And I know we will one day for sure. And by the way, we're 6 subscribers away from 8,340 subs as we keep reaching new milestones. So thanks, everybody, for tuning in. We'll see you at 11 o'clock, and take care, everybody. Thanks.